Berlin. Okay, nice.
Hi, we will wait another 2 minutes to give people the possibility to log in. We will shortly start. So we're gonna start. Welcome to the 4th edition of the Icebreakers session. My name is Salma and I'm a product manager at Tech Quartier, and we'll start with some welcoming words and introduction from our managing director, Sebastian.
Hi, everybody. It's really a pleasure to connect, even if it's only virtually, but I think a community lives from its interaction, and today I think virtual connections are very important, but not only for this reason. I think this is very much the core of what Tech Quartier does. It connects. It brings different players, different people together to see if there can be some joint business development opportunities to increase the time to partnerships, to increase the time to market. So I think our community lives from its interaction. We need the startups, we need all the interesting new talents, founders that can get in touch with our corporate partners, our members. And I'm really thankful to our members, but also to our team, that this is possible, that we can do it now on a regular basis. And also thanks a lot to Carsten from Econs Worldline and Isabel from IBM to join and get to know the startups. I wish you all the best for the pitches. Hope to see some of you maybe one day in Frankfurt, for those who haven't been to Frankfurt or Tech Quartier yet. That is great. Looking forward, and thanks a lot.
Thank you, Sebastian. So most of you should be familiar with the format. So we've invited 5 community startups today. They will pitch for 5 minutes, and then afterwards you will have a couple of minutes to ask them anything you want to. We have a nice mix of startups, which are not only based in Frankfurt. That's also why we're hosting the event in English, so it's accessible for everyone. And before we start with the pitches, I'd like to give our partners, IBM and Econs Worldline, the opportunity to say a couple of words about themselves, what they're actually doing, and even what they could do for startups in our community. So Isabel, would you like to start? You were muted. So, and for anyone who's not speaking right now, mute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for inviting me today. My name is Isabel. I work for IBM quite a few years now in different parts, almost in sales positions, and now I'm responsible for the startup program which IBM provides, and it's a great program. So I'm really glad to be here today, and maybe we can get in closer connection after your pitches. But first, I'd like to tell you a few things about our program. So it usually lasts for 12 months. And within these 12 months, you will get a free cloud account. So you have access to our more than 190 cloud services. And you get free credits each month, so you can try and test everything we provide for you. But we don't leave you alone on this journey. We also have in addition, other offers like technical workshops and enablements. And we have, of course, standard workshops we offer, but we also do a lot of individual sessions with the startups. So we really try to connect very close, that we can help you individually on your journey and provide you with the right technical information. Our technical team sitting in Eningen, right next to Stuttgart, helps us a lot in these cases. And we also can arrange discussions with our CDO, Daniel Onkelhäuser. He's also located here in Stuttgart, and he can kind of help you like a business angel, discuss your business plans with you and maybe give you some advice if you want to. And what do we do sorry. Just a little bit confused because it's in English today, so I was not prepared that much. I'm sorry. But what's really important for you, I guess, is that we also do a lot of social media work with our startups. So we do a lot of postings, but we speak about the story we want to tell, and then we can help you in getting you more known in the business world. And also we do a lot of matchmaking with the other sales parts of IBM. So we have in the different industries, we have a lot of companies where we can connect you and that may be interested in your solutions. So yes, that's it from my side, and I'm glad to get into closer connection with you after your pitches. Thank you.
Yeah, very cool, Isabel, for your information for all participants, not only the pitching startups. After the event, we will send around a type form where you can indicate with whom you want to meet again or talk to, and I will do introductions the week after. So thank you again, Isabel. Now it's your turn, Carsten.
Thank you, Selma. Well, Equens Worldline, I think we're not as known as IBM. Nevertheless, we are the leading European payment service provider. So we provide end-to-end payment solutions, ranging from producing terminals or being acquiring services or any type of processing of payment transactions like mobile or electronic or whatever. So I'm working in business development, and I'm taking care of our relation towards Tech Quartier and any type of fintech business in the area. And yeah, we're always interested in cooperating with fintechs especially in the fields of payment and digital banking. Maybe I would like to point out like one format that could be of interest for you. We have several types of programs for fintechs too. One of them is called the e-payments challenge. Maybe you can Google that too. It has taken place twice already, and it's like a hackathon which takes place September this year, online only, normally obviously physically, but due to COVID online. and you're happily invited. So if you have any type of interest, just contact me afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Carsten. So we can jump right into the pitches right now. So we have a tight timeline, so I might cut off a little bit the Q&A sessions, and please all startups don't extend your 5 minutes. And for your information, the pitching startups already have been informed, but again, we will be recording the pitches and also sharing it with our partners network again for all those people who weren't able to participate and get to know you. So our first pitch is Ilya from Finery Tech. So the stage is yours.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Ilya from Finery Tech. Let me share the screen with you. Do you see it now?
Yeah.
Perfect. So Finery Tech is a software and fintech firm. Our flagship product is Finery EFX, which is a non-custodial trading platform where financial institutions like banks can trade digital assets in a compliant and convenient way directly with liquidity providers. So what kind of problem are we trying to solve? This is first, poor liquidity due to fake volumes in the cryptocurrency markets. Then it's expensive trade execution due to high trading fees, bid-ask spreads. And above all, this is high counterparty risk, given the concerns of money laundering. Our solution is Finery FX platform, which allows liquidity providers to trade directly with liquidity consumers. The platform offers round-the-clock deep liquidity, charges 0% taker fees. This is disclosed trading mode, which is compliant with AML regulation. And the platform is non-custodial. That means that settlement takes place post-trade and directly between the market participants. It's not only the technology, it's the proven product. It launched in November. We have done 50K trades so far. We have 1 liquidity provider and 10 market takers, mostly crypto exchanges, asset managers, payment institutions, and so on. They use it for trading as well as for hedging purposes. We have traction. This is 33% average weekly growth. Our magic formula is no middleman, no toxic flow, means better rates. So we allow aggregating liquidity across liquidity providers and make sure that they don't compete with one another. We also exclude toxic flow, which means that at the end of the day, the bid-ask spreads and rates are better for the end customer. So how does it work? On the left hand, you see makers, so liquidity providers. They trade on Finery FX with takers, like buy-side firms, and then they settle. They settle either on blockchain or blockchain plus bank wire, or they can settle it within a custodian. Why do we believe that we are better than a cryptocurrency exchange? Well, there are a couple of reasons. First, you don't need to trust your funds. Second, it's compliant disclosed trading. Third, there's a single point of access in various liquidity providers, which is really important for banks that always lack technical resources for integration and then maintenance. And well, we also believe that the underlying technology is robust and scalable. It's written in C++. This is a number of supported assets, both fiat currencies, cryptocurrencies, and stablecoins. A couple of words about post-trade settlement. So the platform allows real-time clearing, but the settlement itself takes place outside of the platform. This is direct peer-to-peer settlement. There are a number of options. So pre-delivery prepayment, this is the easiest one, but risky for the counterparties. And there are 2 DVP options, like with a custodian partner of ours, or it can also be done in the blockchain using atomic swaps. But of course, we need a tokenized fiat currency in this case. Our business model is simple. So we charge around 4 basis points of the trading turnover. We truly believe that the market has high growth potential, but even given the current real spot trading volume and targeting a small market share, we will be able to generate quite sustainable daily revenues. Our growth plan is mostly integrating more leading liquidity providers, mostly regulated entities from the US and Europe. Also integration with custodians to facilitate DVP settlement and make it easier for our users. And also some partners with local markets in Mexico, Brazil, South Africa. That's our team. We're currently a team of 9 people. And actually, that's it. So thank you for your information, and I'm ready to answer your questions. Get in touch, shoot me an email, or connect on LinkedIn. Thank you.
So if you have a question, you can just unmute yourself and ask it, or if you're not brave enough, just write into the chat if you have any questions. Otherwise, we've got questions. So I'm not quite sure, I missed it, I guess, like how do you earn money, and what would you need in order to like generate more revenue? Like what are like the next step of your go-to-market strategy?
We charge a transaction fee, so the counterpart is trade on our platform and we charge a part of it. So this is like a small fee of 4 basis points. To generate more revenue, we first of all need, some regulated liquidity providers. So those entities that are ready to sell and buy cryptocurrencies around the clock. And then on the other hand, this is consumers of it. This is mostly financial institutions like banks, invest banks, asset managers across the globe. Probably some payment processing firms also use our service for hedging purposes.
Okay, where is your software platform currently live?
Yes, this is
Like,
live.
I mean, in which countries is it live?
Well, actually, this is globally, so this is just a piece of technology, so there is no limitation in it. But our current existing customers, they are mostly from Europe.
Okay. So does anyone else have questions? Okay, great. Then thank you, Ilya. Very interesting. Then we will continue with Michael from Send It Money.
Michael, you're still on mute. Can you please unmute yourself?
There we go. Apologies for that. Right, so my name is Michael Wall. I'm the founder and the CEO of Send It Money. We're based here in London. Problem we're trying to solve, it's a very simple problem. Africa today, when people hear the word Africa, people think Africa is a country. Unfortunately, what people do not understand is Africa is comprised of 54 countries. And these 54 countries have different currencies, and their currencies are classified as non-convertible currencies. So every time someone is sending money within Africa or from outside Africa to other developed nation, their money has to go via USD. And most times these people lose money. So if I'm traveling from Ghana, for example, to Kenya, I have to change Ghanaian currency, which is Ghanaian cedis, into USD. And when I arrived in Kenya, which is still within Africa, I have to convert the USD into Kenyan shillings. And this is a very huge problem. And thanks to European Union Commission, which is now giving a template for African countries to have what we call the African Union Trade Agreement. This African Union Trade Agreement will do two things for African continent. It will open up trade and will enable Africans to travel seamlessly within Africa, same way as European Union member states do in Europe today. And when that time comes, people will need infrastructure that will enable people to travel seamlessly within Africa and for them to convert their currency from one to another. And that's where we came into the game. When we launched in 2018, I traveled about 10 African countries myself as a third-time entrepreneur. I know what it means to validate an idea before go to market. We have a conversation with over 2,000 potential users, and we identified 3 problems within currencies, the immigrant communities here in Europe and US, sending money to Africa, and African traders coming to Europe to buy goods and services to sell back in Africa. So there's 2 layers of problem. To them, there's a high exchange rate. So if someone is sending money, even an immigrant in Frankfurt, for example, is sending money back home to help families, the euro will have to go via USD. And when the money gets back to the host country in Africa, then the bank will further do further conversion from USD into their local currency. And that's the reason why sending money from developed nation into Africa is very expensive. Western Union is a giant in that space, and Western Union charge helping 10 to 15% of transaction fees. And even the exchange rate is it's unregulated, so to say. So it's a free-for-all market. So there's a whole lot of corruption, legal corruption, I call it. that goes on within the remittance industry. And just to put a number to it, in 2019, according to World Bank immigration and remittance data, over 29 billion US pounds was lost to money transfer fraud within the African corridor coming from Africa into Europe alone. What we want to stop is to stop unfair exchange rates, enable these people to send money from one currency to the other without necessarily going via USD. And by doing this, we will be using building our solution on the blockchain technology. And that's what was interesting when Helias was talking. I was listening attentively. By doing this, when we create an e-wallet, so it's a wallet-to-wallet system. Whether you download our wallet in Germany or UK or in Kenya, you're interacting with one single ledger that will do control. So you send an e-value within that system, and we use our capability of Visa and MasterCard to enable people to connect their Visa card and MasterCard to cash out at any ATM machine. Our target customers, there's a growing middle class in emerging markets because when people do hear the word Africa, people probably think that it's a very poor continent, but the reverse is the case. Alone in Egypt, Nigeria, and Kenya last year alone sent whooping 62 billion US dollars in terms of trade from those countries into Europe alone. That's the volume of money that moves from those three countries into Europe in 2019. International students, they're all over in Europe studying in different countries. These people face a very huge challenges, and we will be serving these people. Also, as globalization takes over and COVID-19 is not slowing down anytime soon, most multinationals will be forced to look for cheap labor, and they will be looking towards Africa. And Facebook is already, and Twitter already looking towards Africa in terms of looking for labor. And these people will want a means of which they can pay their staff's salaries, direct debits seamlessly. And we're well positioned to be a first mover advantage in that particular market. Since we started, we've graduated from Founders Institute, which is the second biggest Silicon Valley accelerator in the world. At the moment, we've just launched our clickable prototype and we finished our user testing journey. We've pre-launch, we already have 1,000 customers without actually having a product who are actually walking this journey with us and telling us that we're very interested in what you're building. We've just started early stage of our developmental of the product, and we're looking to raise 250,000 pounds at the moment, and we will look into launch in the UK and in Nigeria. Our computer analysis, the market is well served when you're sending money from Europe into emerging economy, but the market is underserved when you're sending money from emerging market into developed nation, and that's our target market. The total market share, that's over 624 billion US dollars in terms of remittance inflow from emerging economy into developed nation, and that tells you the amount of money that's within that rail. Our business model, we have two business model. We charge transaction fees for every transaction that goes on the platform. We also make a margin spread on the FX that goes on within the platform. For African users who will be traveling into Europe for holiday, we will be selling them a debit card, which is kind of a prepaid multi-FX card. And this kind of same, the Revolut we sell is users today in Europe. And people will also charge a bit of margin for people using credit card to make transaction fees on the platform. Our value for our customers, like I said, are immigrant communities, multinationals willing to operate in emerging economies, and other host of international students looking to operate within Europe. Why invest in us? I know we pitch it within the tech and people listening, and I know people watching on YouTube. We are an upskilled company in Africa. This is my third venture. My last company was a partnership with Central Bank of Nigeria, Kenya, and Ghana. So have a very concrete market dynamics within the African market, and that's part of the know-how that I do bring to the table. We're looking to raise 250,000 pounds. If you want to invest in us, please to get in touch. We'll be more than willing to speak to you. We're looking to onboard 100,000 users in 12 months of operation with a projected revenue of 1.2 million USD. And that's my humble self, Michael Awal. I have Julie Hendy, my co-founder, with a 12 years experience working within the co-working space here in London, and Rizal with the 20 years of experience working the likes of Yahoo and Vodafone. If you do want to get in touch, that's my phone number there, my email address. feel free to check our website. We've just launched our exchange trading machine. Feel free to compare us to existing competitors, and we will open to your feedback. Thank you guys for listening.
Okay, thank you, Michael. All right, so does anybody have some questions? Please feel free to just unmute yourself.
Maybe I have one, a short
or
one.
in the chat.
Can you hear me? I have a short question. Maybe how do you?
Carsten, I think you're still on mute.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Can you listen to me?
I can hear Carsten. Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yep.
At least one.
Then just write the question into the chat.
Yeah.
Well.
Can you write the question into the chat?
Yeah.
Hey, Carsten, man kann dich hören. We can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay. So how does your KYC onboarding process look like for your customers?
Our KYC onboarding process, I will be working with on FIDO, which is part of the same ecosystem here, because I'm part of the Oxford University ecosystem. So FIDO is one of the early stage company that has now gone global from Oxford University. So we will be using the open API of FIDO in terms of our onboarding, but also at the back end, we'll actually have our own dashboard as well. Once FIDO is done, the onboarding in terms of the KYC for us, we'll also do another layer of KYC to actually check that what they've done is accurate. And most fintech digital banking enablers here in the UK, most of them do use FIDO or M2 Squared. So, but we will be using FIDO.
All right, thank you very much. Unfortunately, we only have time for one question. Please try to just stay with your pitch in 5 minutes so we have some more time for the questions. Yeah, but so next we would like to go on with Philip from PNT Software. Philip, if you'd like to share your screen.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start. First of all, yeah, I'm Philip, founder of PNT Software. First of all, apologies that the presentation is in German. Hopefully you can still understand some buzzwords. So let's jump in. What do? We develop software for company clients. That separates us from many other startups. We don't have our own software product, but we're purely a service firm. So we develop software basically for you. If you own a software product, or if you want to bring a software product to the market, then you're our potential customer. We can develop this for you. Our focus is on web-based applications. That is everything that works with the browser. And it's on enterprise and B2B applications. What does that mean? Again, in contrast, we don't do simple websites, but we develop complex applications with web-based technologies. What separates us from other software agencies, besides the technical mastery, I believe what's important is understanding the management perspective of software development projects. And this is where we excel. So we work very closely with our customers. We do a lot of requirements engineering to make absolutely sure we understand what the software product is supposed to do at the end, so that we can build it in a way that the end user can use it in a meaningful way. All right. This is our technologies. Don't want to talk about this too much. If you have any questions, you can of course ask. Our main programming languages are Java and JavaScript. Yeah, besides that, I would just directly jump into a project example. We have 5 here. I'm just gonna go to the last one because of the short time. And this is a project we did last year for a startup. It's a legal procurement platform, which is right now productive and used by DAX companies, among others. And it's a platform where you can buy legal services, or more accurately, you can manage the tender process for legal mandates. in an efficient and transparent way. So if you're a big company and you have a law mandate that you want to give out to a law firm, you can use the platform we built for our customers to, first of all, define the scope of the mandate, and then have an auction go on where the participants, the law firms, can place bids both qualitatively and quantitatively with an auction system that works kind of like eBay, just the other way around, so that the price gets lower instead of higher. Yeah, so this is some quotes from our customers. Just a small recap what I think makes us potentially good fit for you. We understand your customers or your needs. We are fast and we deliver high technical quality. I think that's like the three main points. Then, yeah, just a couple more information about the company and myself. I don't want to talk about that too much either. I started the company 3 years ago. We're right now 5 people internally, plus some long-term partners and freelancers, which brings us up to 10 people at the moment working on projects. So yeah, that's basically it for the short of time. Maybe to finish it off, what are we looking for? Primarily, we're looking for potential customers, but also partners. What could make you a good fit as a partner is if you have in your network or in your customer base demand for software development services, but you don't offer these services yourselves. For example, if you provide an API from your product that your customers have to implement, and you want to recommend someone who can help them implement your API, that could be a good case for a partnership. All right, so that's the 5 minutes. Now I'm happy to answer your questions.
Good. Thank you a lot, Philip. Well, I have one question already. Since we got some fintechs, here, do you have any also project example in the financial technology area you could talk about?
Yes, of course. So one project that we did has to do with connecting trading platforms to banks. This is a project that does not have a front end, which is unusual for us, but it's just basically so we work with the FIX protocol, which is an industry standard for exchanging financial transaction data. And what we did is making sure that the bank received trade information intraday through this fixed channel, as opposed to end of day, which was the thing before. Yeah, that is one example. Maybe something else. Yeah, basically, where we excel is whenever there is real-time data involved. This is something that we can handle very well, and we have a lot of experience with. The auction system I mentioned in the example before would be another example of something financial going on. And then for Deutsche Bahn, we did a project where we developed a pricing engine where we basically have complex contracts, but prices need to be calculated in real time. Yeah.
Wow, sounds really cool. Do you also take like international clients, or are you strictly focused on Germany?
Yeah, we would. So far we haven't, but yeah, this would absolutely be possible. Yeah.
So Michael, if you still need support with your further developments, I think Philip is your man.
Philip should pay you for that. That's a real great sales questions there. I will get in touch, Philip.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, please do.
Great. Then we will continue with our next startup, Tink. I'm not pretty sure how to pronounce your name, but Syrosh.
Sorry, Kyrosh.
Kyrosh. Okay.
Kyrosh. Perfect. Let me put this. All right. Anyone can see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
Perfect. Okay, then let me start. Yeah, Kyrosh, my name. I'm the general manager for the DACH region of Tink. I have a background, 10 years at Bain & Company, principal for banking asset management. And after that, I was in the management team of Aux Money, VP for partnerships and strategic products. And a bit about Tink. I mean, what Tink is doing is not really a startup anymore. It's been around for 9 years now. Is that we are in an environment where access to bank account and bank's data is going from closed to open, and where we have a general trend that's going from analog to digital. So what that essentially means, and there were 2 key directives that kind of played into this, into the open banking industry, was that the customer itself now is empowered to utilize their bank products data, bank accounts data, kind of much more openly and freely than it used to be. And that this means this kind of freedom, personalization and control means that you as a financial institution, but also as a payment provider, have the opportunity to kind of tap into these bank's data if the customer is giving you the opportunity to do so. How Tink kind of started that journey was that we used these kind of opening up of bank interfaces and the open banking by launching our own PFM app. 2012, we were one of the first to do that in Sweden, kind of aggregating multiple accounts of bank customers. Then also the second step, kind of allowing to pay between these accounts, and then giving what you can kind of classically know from a PFM device, categorization, insights into this. We then launched a marketplace where banks could kind of make the customer better offers. As I said, we were living in an environment where the 2 directives, the PSD2 directive and the GDPR directive, came. More and more banks saw how successful this approach was, and also wanted to get ready for the open banking world. So they approached Tink, and this is where we kind of pivoted and became a B2B platform. And we're now offering all of these services to banks, payment providers, insurances, loyalty card providers, you name it, and the wide broad range of fintechs, and kind of enable all of these companies to be the stars of open banking and to deliver a exceptional customer experience. We're now 300 employees across Europe. We are the biggest open banking provider in Europe, second biggest in the world, with 14 live countries. We got in quite some funding, 170 million in funding, and working with the big names like NatWest, BNP, PayPal, Klarna, but also with a lot of fintechs and platform users, which you can see on the right-hand side, that we're kind of offering our services through a self-service platform. So kind of we try to cater both to fast-growing fintechs, but also to big institutions and payment providers. Right, and here a bit to our products and kind of how we support our partners. We do aggregation and everything that's behind aggregation of accounts and of other bank products like investment accounts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, for retail and also for corporate customers. We can initiate payments on these accounts. We then are able to do data enrichment and data analytics. So everything, if you're, for example, in a loan account process, we can kind of use the data that we fetch from an account to do risk scoring or to help a bank or a fintech to kind of have an easier onboarding and KYC. And lastly, we do everything around financial insights. Can be a PFM, but can also be other applications to kind of really make use of this 360 view of the customer's finances. And this is really what you see here. We are kind of in every step of the customer journey and enable with use cases our partners, like, as I said, banks, payment providers, loyalty card providers, with easy onboarding, KYC, enhanced credit scoring. You can do multi-banking. You can use spending statistics and categories. For example, if you want to display the customer where he's spending the most and kind of encourage him to do goals and budget. We have actionable insights, price comparisons, which is a great tool for bank products. And we do something like income verification and so on. Kind of going to the last slide. These are just a couple of partners we work with. And yeah, as I said, really, there's such a broad variety of what the platform can do. Happy to talk more if you're interested. Just drop me a mail or a message. Yeah, maybe now time for questions.
Thank you, Kirosh. You've already completed quite a journey with Tink. One question for the start: what are actually like thinking about the future? Are there like any next milestones you want to like achieve as Tink?
Yeah, exactly. So what we do, because we're the only company that kind of grants pan-European access to all of these open banking services, we want to kind of strengthen our positioning in Europe in the next 12 to 18 months, and then move west and east to become a global open banking provider, because we think the end game of such a platform industry is going to be if you have scale and if you are globally operating. And that's exactly where we want to be heading.
I have maybe another question.
Yeah.
Maybe you could give some insight on your experience with the new PSD2 open banking APIs, if you have any information about this.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a bit of a bumpy ride due to a bit of challenging implementation by the banks. Prior to the PSD2, we didn't use screen scraping. We used reverse engineering. In Germany, you can also use FinTS to fetch the data. We still kind of course, we're offering PSD2, but as other open banking providers are doing, if this kind of PSD2 implementation isn't up to par, we are still allowed to kind of use our fallback technologies. I think it's going to be another 12 months since we're all there. In countries where we are, like UK and Sweden, it's a bit we're a bit further, and banks implement a bit better. But also in Germany and Austria, Switzerland is different. We're going to come there. It's going to be the future. It's still a journey to work on it, but this is going to become at some point definitely the standard, and will make also our life much easier. But yeah, it's been challenging as you probably have seen.
Okay, great. So we're perfect on time. Now we will continue with our last pitch, floor plan match. Anton?
Yeah, hi.
Yours.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's nice to be here and be inspired by seeing the journey of startups that are ahead of us. We're still a very young idea. I'm looking for the presentation here. But it definitely makes this virtual membership way less virtual to have this event. So thank you for having us. In a nutshell, floor plan match guides people who want to build a house through the process of formulating their preferences and finding the right house layout for them. So we are a spin-off idea from the Technical University of Darmstadt, and the idea is based on proprietary technology which comes out of my research at the university. And like I said, we're still in the very early stage. We're forming the team, validating the idea. And to help me explain what we're after with floor plan match, let's take a look at Laura. Laura wants to build a house, and she already made a list of preferences and wishes for her family, for her family's new home. And for example, she would like to enjoy the sunlight with her morning coffee. But how do you look for a house design where the sun falls onto the table at 8 a.m.? Roger and I, Roger is my co-founder, we believe that we can help Laura. Both of us are architects with a good set of programming skills as well. So we're coming more from the tech side of startup establishment. founding, and we met at the architecture faculty of the Technical University of Darmstadt, where I'm currently teaching and doing my PhD. And Roger just finished his master thesis. And we have automated the analysis of floor plans. Our tech basically lets Laura search for designs based on criteria that were not available to her or other homeowners before. For example, the orientation of the dining room. Here it is. Here is a design where the sun hits the table at 8 a.m. People like Laura build 100,000 houses per year in Germany. And before they sign a contract with a builder, they are prepared to spend between 1 and 10,000 euro to find or plan the perfect design for their house. So the market for these pre-planning services is about 300 million. And we know that this process can be made much simpler and way more transparent than it happens now, being inspired by other markets that have done this similar thing, such as mobility, delivery, and education. And basically, we want to create a web platform where people can offer and find floor plans. And with our platform, Laura can find a house that fits her and her family, independent of the company who offers the design. And only when Laura expresses an interest in a particular design, we can connect her with the builder, or connect the builder to her, and send also over her complete wish list and preferences. So when they start working on the project, they don't start from scratch. And something happened on my screen. Yeah, and this is how we plan to make money, with a lead gen business model where we offer the leads with the best closing rate on the market. So if we get 5% of the market that I mentioned earlier, our revenue could lie within like 15 million euro. We first want to focus on the market of prefab houses, the German Fertighäuser industry, which is amazing as an engineering achievement. And there we see the highest potential to add value with our technology, since the market is already a catalog-based service. And with prefab companies adopting more and more Industrie 4.0 practices, the potential will only grow further. There are several players on the lead gen market for single-family houses, which is understandable because the market is organized into franchises and sales representatives. But the qualifiers for a lead that the competition uses are quite generic in comparison to the highly individualized and specific qualifiers we can achieve with our technology. So we aim to become the sales representative, kind of Handelsvertreter 4.0, if you will. And this would give us a stable ground to move into multifamily housing market of pre-planning design services, which is 10 times bigger than the single family houses. Like I said, we are currently in the forming stage, still very young. We thought it's great to join the community of tech courtiers, set up our network in the startup world. We're coming from this more tech background. We are currently applying for our first financing, which is the state program of Exist, Forschungstransfer or Gründerstipendium, the two programs available to us as a university spin-off. And we are in several talks with potential co-founders with business background who will join the team. And we're also looking for a full stack developer to join the team so that can wrap up front end, back end. Our algorithms can find a nice way to operate and be made user-friendly. And we're definitely interested in one of the reasons of joining Tech Courtier, definitely interested in having experienced market insiders mentoring us as we build our startup. Our vision is to enable anyone to contribute to shaping the built environment around them. And with Floor Plan Match, it's just the first step in achieving that. You can join our mailing list if you want to stay in touch or get in touch directly with me. I'll post my email in the chat. And yeah, looking forward to hear your thoughts and questions now. Thank you.
All right, Anton, thank you very much for the presentation. We have one question here in the chat from Ilya. Don't you plan to enter B2B market too? Are you planning?
We are kind of the current idea is that we are a multi-sided platform. So we have a kind of a B2B side, because our revenue comes from the manufacturers of houses, the prefab companies that build these houses. If that's where you were going with your question, I hope it answers this. Another idea where B2B might go is probably that we directly sell to architects, architectural offices, our algorithms, or to companies that are directly operating and managing real estate assets. Our technology is probably still too young to make a difference and react quickly, because the pace is very different for us. I think we need maybe a year and a half until we can run with a B2B business model.
Great. Does anyone else have questions?
Yeah, I have a question, Anton. What parts of the technology do already exist, and is there an MVP or something that can already be clicked through or tried out?
We are currently developing a clickable prototype. The technology that exists is, we work in Python, for example, is a set of Python scripts that encapsulate the algorithms that I talked about for digitizing floor plans, analyzing and categorizing them into the searchable database. So it doesn't, I mean, it has an interface only for us at the moment.
But you could use it to do this analysis for me, for example. If I would tell you what I want, you could click it through.
Actually, if you go to floorplancheck.com, we kind of running a side service for this. You can upload your floor plan and we'll analyze it for you.
Okay, interesting.
Just one last question, and kind of the outcome is that you're gonna direct me to the exact right Fertighausanbieter. Once I'm in discussion with him, are you also supporting by, I don't know, going through the contract, etc., or is it just kind of the lead to the right one?
I think we need to offer that. For us, it seems that for an MVP, that's a nice to have. But I guess to keep our customers, our users happy and deliver on our vision, basically to defend their interests, I think at one point we'll have to do some business development to achieve that. And I said defends their interests because the current market structure optimizes against the interests of people who want to build a house. Because no one is willing. That's why they are prepaying to architects before they sign a contract with a prefab manufacturer. No one's willing to invest the time to design your house. Design is basically an expense that should be minimized from their side of view. So it's definitely a good idea to offer that, what you're suggesting there.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Are there any more questions?
Thank you.
All right, then I would wrap this up, the fourth session of the Icebreakers. Thank you for all participants. You will get a mail this afternoon with a type form where we can connect you better. Yeah, so thank you very much. Sama, would you like to ask?
Thank you all. It was very exciting and interesting. Well, I wish you a nice lunch, and at 1 p.m. you will receive the email where you can start connecting, where we will connect you. So have a nice day. Thank you all for participating.
Thank you. Thanks for organizing.
Questions.
Thanks for organizing this.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you guys. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Stop my recording. Stop recording. Ich wurde irgendwie rausgekriegt. Ja.